Okay, here is our first lesson of the year for 8th grade math, and it's all about the number line and comparing and ordering integers. Now the first question that I asked is, well, does anyone remember what an integer is? And I had quite a few that did remember. I was pleased. Basically, all of these numbers up here, they are integers. And we'll show you what these are. Says, any set of numbers can be put into a number line. And there are 3 different types of numbers shown above. And here are the 3 sets that can be seen above. We have our counting numbers. Counting numbers always start at 1, and they go up in the positive direction to infinity. So that would be from here on up. Whole numbers are the same way. The only difference is that they start at 0. So that's from here on up. Integers, well, that's all of these. They go in the negative direction and they go in the positive direction. So that's the huge difference there. So I asked the students, what's the biggest set? Well, all of these are infinite sets, but this one's going to contain a lot more numbers. So, just to grasp the difference of size. Here's one thing that we needed to hit hard because last year it caused a bit of an issue, and it's called absolute value. Now, here's the definition of it. It says the absolute value of a number is the distance between the number and the origin on the number line. Now the big part to remember here is that the origin is 0. And the first question I asked was, how far away is -4 from 0? Now it's important to remember that -4 is not -4 units away from 0. You cannot have a negative distance. That's not possible. So instead, we can see that from here to 0, that is 4 units. Okay? Another number that is 4 units from 0, right here. So, -4 is 4 units from 0. +4 is 4 units from 0. That's what absolute value is telling us. So basically, when we put it into notation, the absolute value of a -5 is 5. That's once again because we're talking about distance. So if we see a negative inside these lines, the absolute value symbol, we will get a positive number. These were some examples that I went over today. Now it's important to remember that no matter what is inside the absolute value brackets, it will come out positive, even if that number is already positive. So, quick answers to these. Absolute value of -7 is +7. Absolute value of +3 stays 3. Remember, everything that is in here comes out positive. Absolute value of -20 comes out +20. +42 in the absolute value, that stays 42. And here was a tricky one. We have a negative sign, but it's outside of the absolute value signs. If it's outside, well, that's not inside. So it's not going to count towards the 7. So absolute value of 7, we know is 7. But we have this negative hanging outside. So we have -7 for E. Once again, the biggest part to that and the hardest part for memorization seems to be that no matter what is inside those, you're always coming out positive, always positive. So Negative 7, we saw comes out 7. Positive 3 stays positive 3. That's the big idea here. And that's all because we're talking about distance. This is how many units away from 0 is negative 7? It's 7. That's the whole meaning behind absolute value. A couple other examples here. Arrange in order from least to greatest. Well, I told the students to think about temperature. If it's negative 7 degrees out, is that colder than negative 2 degrees? Yes, it is. Negative 7 is colder. So, our lowest number here is negative 7. Negative 2 comes next. 0, 1, 5. Okay? Which one of these is larger? They are very close, but there is a definite larger answer. So, negative 17 or negative 13. Well, it might not be much warmer, but negative 13 is 4 degrees warmer than negative 17. So, this is the larger number of those two. And if we look at C quick, which is larger, absolute value of 8 or absolute value of absolute value of negative 8 or absolute value of negative 7. Well, after we use our absolute value, we'll have to answer that. So, negative 8, that comes out positive 8. Negative 7 will come out positive 7. Which one's larger? 8 is. So this would be the larger one of those two. Alright. Oops. Alright. Graphing on a number line real quickly. What the book does is it shows this example, and we have the numbers negative 4, negative 2, 0, 2, and 4. And what they've done is you just draw out a number line, and in order to graph these points, all you have to do is put a dot above each one. Negative 4, boom, there's a dot. Negative 2, there's a dot. 0, dot. Now there is a pattern that is shown here. So I asked the students, what set do these numbers fall in? They fall under, well, 2 sets basically. I mean, they're all integers, but even more specifically, these are all even integers. So these are the even numbers. And there they are. So if we were to graph this set of numbers quickly, we've got positive 1 goes here. We've got negative 4, that goes here. 0, right above 0. And negative 2, right there. These numbers, or this set of numbers, has no rhyme or reason to it, just random numbers, but we are still able to graph them, but we do not see a pattern. And that's just how you graph right there. Now, 2 numbers that are 3 units away from 0. This is kind of back to our absolute value questions. So, what is 3 units away from this point right here? Well, 3. 1, 2, 3. And as we know from our absolute value, negative 3 is also 3 units away. 1, 2, 3. So we got to keep that in mind. Alright, now that is our slideshow. And in case you are wondering, here's what was assigned for 8th grade today. It was page 9, the whole practice set, and numbers 1 through 8, and numbers 14 through 20. Alright, thank you.